And we've got a free iced latte with whole milk, courtesy of Octopus Energy. I think they burnt it today. Mind rolling. This is a walk and talk self-therapy session. I've been thinking a lot, too much thinking. Today is the first day. I think it's like maybe is it the 11th or 12th day? 10th, 11th or 12th, I can't remember, Dave Flockstein. So a few days short of 2 weeks. It essentially just numbs the trauma. I feel like I need to unpack a few things, process a few things. Trauma is the way the mind processes what happens. It's not what actually happened. It's the way it's been processed. And it's hardest when people are close to you have inflicted that trauma, because then it becomes a form of betrayal trauma, as well as just cruelty in general. But my hand feels like it's gonna freeze off. It's hard to during the months or even years things are happening. It's hard to work out where things are going wrong. And then once I trace back my steps, I realised what actually happened. So when I was renting out the rooms in my house and I was getting a decent income, it wasn't an easy thing to do. But what made it 10 times harder was waiting on this enhanced DBS in order to start a job. And I knew, I could sense something was up with it by the fact that it was just taking so long. And I just knew, I could just feel that something wasn't right. And then during that time, I just couldn't do the renting rooms out anymore, because it was just too much to bear when you're seeing other people going and doing their job and you're thinking, you can't start your job because of what someone's written about you. So I can't comprehend how anyone could want to get revenge on their own son, on their child. I don't know. But then I suppose I tried to get revenge on them by emailing their work. I kind of wish I didn't do it because it brought out the worst in them by doing that, and then they hurt people. That's a displacement strategy. Yeah, hurt people. So, but the difference is that what I said was actually true. Yeah, it was to hurt them. It was to damage their reputation with their job. But what I said is true about them. They were child abusers in different ways. So what I said was true. And I suppose that's what triggered such a reaction. So my mother had to use lies to hurt me because she knew I wasn't gonna stand up for myself, because she knew I'd been that way before, because I'd had shit made up about me before. And I suppose traumatized people with PTSD are sort of the main. They're often victims of injustice because they can't argue their case because they're so numbed and screwed up by what's happened that they can't argue their case. So I didn't even respond, and the court phoned me and I didn't even give my side because it's just too difficult, it's too painful. It's just, once you've had one load of bullshit made up about you, then you're now judged by your track record. And I mean, it's not like I've never done anything wrong. Of course I have done loads of things wrong, but it's that things get twisted, taken out of context, and the whole truth is not told. It's just one side. Mental health isn't taken into it. I'm not saying that excuses anything. It can explain it, but it doesn't excuse anything. But a lot of the things that were said were just lies. if I go through every point, just loads of lies. Loads of lies. And now it's like, it's hard to spread my wings, so to speak, in fear that I'm going to get hurt again. So every time I try and exert myself in this world, carve out my own little piece of safety, I always seem to get hurt. I suppose it's when you're at other people's mercy. People always have their conditions. You know, people always have their conditions. But to be alone, sometimes we need that for a period of time. Even if it's just an hour in meditation, an hour walking in nature. Has anyone seen Accepting the Universe, the YouTube channel Accepting the Universe? I can't work that guy out. He looks like someone from a film or something. Like, yeah, he looks like something from a film. Very good looking guy. Very good looking. Looks like a movie star, that guy, Accepting the Universe. I can't work him out though. I don't know what his history is. I feel like he looks like he's like somehow, I don't know, I get like a rich vibe from him. Like he's super rich or something. And he's just sort of got this time to do this, kind of make these really cool videos about things and philosophize and stuff. Maybe that's what, to an extent, what I'm doing. Except I'm not rich. And I'm not good looking like him. And I can't speak as well as he speaks. But I kind of feel inspired by him in a way. That guy. But it reminds me of like Patrick Bateman or something. So maybe that's just a narcissistic fantasy of mine to be someone else. Be someone who can never be hurt. Because he's too rich and healthy and beautiful to ever be hurt. So there's a narcissistic fantasy. Yeah. Caffeine is doing its job, making the neurons fire rapidly. Probably toxifying the brain to an extent. I've heard that caffeine can do that, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it sometimes. It's a good fuck. I'm a toe rag. Pardon more. So yeah, we're walking along the Cauldron Canal. I'd like to take a walk along your canal. How's that, bitch? I'm only joking. Calm down. Calm down, motherfucker. Calm down. It's just the coffee talking. So, yeah. Cauldron Canal, the wonderful city of Stoke-on-Trent. I love to get fucked. Fuck me hard. I need to stop doing that. CL, shout out to you, CL. You know who you are. Name beginning with CL. My little sugar dumpling. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my children. Shout out to my ex. You really had the best. That's the Little Mix song. So yeah, Babu! Sorry, I had to do it. Babu! Babu! Hey, everyone love baboos. Everyone love her. Everyone love baboos. I run! Oh dear. Hold, baby. We're going past Little Wife. Have we been there together before? Bachelor's Super Noodles. Go. This is my dad's jacket. He gave me a jacket. He felt it was too small for him, which it probably was in all fairness, so he's given it to me. And I'm wearing it to honor him on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to my father-in-law. Happy Father's Day to my brother-in-laws. And all the fathers of the world. Have I missed anyone out? If I have, I'm sorry. Happy Father's Day to Homer Simpson and Grandpa Simpson. So yeah, being silly is how I cope with the trauma, the PTSD, certain wounds. God, it stinks of geese shit over here. Certain wounds never go away, but they can heal as much as possible. I think traumatized people tend to maybe we talk more because there's more to process. So I suppose Buddhist monks, when they heal their trauma, that's why they become so quiet. I hope to become a quiet person one day. I hope that there'll be less wounds to process because they would have been processed, and there'll be less wounds, less to talk through, more to say, but less to talk about. My therapist that I saw a couple of years ago, his name was Steve. EMDR consultant. He told me I should write a book about everything I've been through. I kept trying to start one, but I couldn't finish it. It was possibly because the things were too painful to write over, and also possibly because the story's not really finished yet. So every time I think there's always something more. I said, I guess it would help me, and he said, well, it could help you, it could help people that have been through similar things, but the task of writing a book and trying to get it published, I don't know, could do. I feel like I would need someone to help me curate that, help me present it, because it's so much about how you deliver a book as much as the content, and the content is there because it's all the truth, but the deliverance, I wouldn't know how to deliver it. So I feel that videos may be just the best way to start. One of the things I would like to talk about if I was to write a book would be about how my experience in a psychiatric ward, which was about 9 years ago, and how unbelievably useless the psychiatrists are there. It doesn't help to label people who have only been there, been an inpatient for 5 days, and they've basically self-sectioned themselves. So it just doesn't help to label. Being labeled with prominent narcissistic traits. I still don't know why it just says on my record prominent narcissistic traits, possibly traits of borderline, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, but it doesn't say narcissistic personality disorder. But somehow my mum went around telling everyone that I was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, and when she would use that against me, that wasn't even on the record. It said prominent narcissistic traits. The disorder that was on there was GAD, and she never mentioned that, because she knew that if she mentions GAD, that someone may have some sort of compassion. So she just wants to use information to hurt you. She goes around telling everyone that I've got 2 personality disorders, that I've got narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, neither of which are actually written on the record. Prominent narcissistic traits, many people have prominent narcissistic traits, and it's actually, I would say, I call it a narcissistic wound for the people who are actually informed about it. That doesn't mean you've been diagnosed with the actual full-blown personality disorder, and the labels wouldn't even be helpful necessarily anyway, unless it's to protect yourself against someone like her. So know what she is. Remember when I told my therapist years ago, prior to Steve, his name was Philip, he was a psychodynamic therapist, and I told him that my mother had got around telling people that I had antisocial personality disorder, and he said to me, does your mother realize how serious that diagnosis is? She doesn't. It's anything to absolve her from bad parenting, from her responsibility as a parent. She's not responsible now because I'm 35, but this all went on throughout my life. First time I was evicted was like 17. I did smash up her stuff though. Because I knew I was angry. I didn't know why I was angry. I just hated the things she'd done. I hated the way she projected all of her anxiety onto me. She wouldn't just let me relax and get ready for school in my own time, or chill out, or, you know, I was so traumatized and anxious, and it's like a child like that needs a break. They need some compassion. They don't need someone rushing them around and wrestling them into a car to go to bar mitzvah lessons and all this bullshit, or like fucking pulling their fucking pajama bottoms down, exposing a fucking erection when he won't go to school. It's basically sexual abuse. So yeah, but I think my mum doesn't like men. Imagine what the world would be like if parents weren't cruel to their kids. There'd probably be a lot less people in prison or mental hospitals. Environment shapes behavior, especially for the people who are highly sensitive to their environment, such as me. Even when I went to get this coffee, I felt that the woman was a bit rude, and I've kind of felt my own wound rise up with my insecurity with my appearance and so on, you know. And then you hear these theories about how women want to kill off unattractive men because historically, evolutionary, unattractive men would resort to rape as a mating strategy because that was their only way of achieving mating. So they're sort of women are programmed to want to kill unattractive men as a defense. I'm sure that's, well, there may be truth in it, but I'd say it's possibly a truth, but not the truth. So we're in Hanley Park, the wonderful Hanley Park. Hanley Park is a manly park full of men with big dogs. Woof woof. So we're processing wounds. The mind knows how to heal itself. That's what Steve told me. Your mind knows how to heal you. But my biggest fear is that there'll be too many wounds on the mind, and then the mind won't be able to heal. And then it's like brain implosion, brain rot, psychosis, schizophrenia, because there's only so much stress the brain can take before it just completely goes haywire. I really feel that's happened to an extent with me. I mean, Steve told me at one point, you're right on the edge of a psychotic episode, so I've got to be careful with you. But when he told me that, I worried more about things. And then I think I went close to the edge by the fact he said that, because I kept worried about that. And then I kept trying to protect myself. In the process of trying to protect myself, I harmed myself more, because I tried to push everyone away. I've struggled to communicate with anyone. But I mean, it's all just experience anyway. Whether you're detached from reality or attached to reality, whether what you see exists or doesn't exist, it's still just seeing, it's still just experience. And it could just be a bit scary. But definitely, if you don't sleep properly, it can fuck you up. I woke up 4 a.m. because I needed a shit. That wasn't nice. I hate that, because I don't want to get up. And then you just lie there, and then it just keeps fermenting. And it's horrible. It's like a fermenting shit in your colon. Because trauma as well makes IBS a million times worse. Fucking hell, it's warmed up now. I'm too hot in this coat. Where should we sit? Where should we sit? So that's that. Savano givano samanagi. Savano givano. So yeah. So we're going to be on Flockstein for a while, because it's a form of synthetic happiness. And you can feel it. But it's not completely fake, because it has to use the brain that's already there. So it's working with the brain. So it's just retaining more serotonin that would otherwise be diminished from such PTSD. PTSD doesn't really allow for much serotonin. Once the wounds have healed, then eventually, this time I'm only going to come off Flockstein once I know that my life is stable. I mean, life is never that stable, but this is a good spot. You can meditate there under that tree. You can meditate there. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. It's too hot, man. It's too fucking hot. I'm telling you, depressed people such as myself, we need sun all the time for our depression. It feels so much better in the sun. So there we are. We've just got ice. We've got ice. That's all we've got is ice left. Ice, baby. It's time to let go of bad habits, greed and anger. I'm probably a bit ADHD as well. Come on, Ice Cube. Come on. Try to get these ice cubes. Nope. They ain't coming out, those ice cubes. Yeah, so anxiety. There's a guy on YouTube I saw once, and he's like films meditation around different areas. I'm thinking of doing that. I have to film myself meditating in different spots, like. But I'd be worried that my phone would be stolen if I put it on a stand. So you know. Yeah. Let's put this cup in the bin. Junk off the mind. I think I'm going to do a little meditation on this bench. So I'll catch you later.